Movie begins with Villa Hines, where a girl named Nani hiding from a masked man. She crouches in a cupboard, attempting to write something with a fork. After a while, the man discovers her, but just before he can harm her, her mother intervenes, urging Nani to flee. Noni, however, opts to hide under the bed. Tragically, the man attacks her mother, fatally injuring her. Subsequently, he drags Noni out, but she retaliates by kicking him and attempting to escape. Despite her efforts, she stumbles outside, where the man catches up to her and ultimately kills her too. The scene transitions to a group of friends discussing their vacation plans. Devon presents a villa situated at the base of Mount Bromo, but Sarah expresses her reservations, describing it as spooky. However, upon discovering that the rent is remarkably affordable and they can pay on the spot, they collectively decide to go ahead and finalize the booking. The next morning, they reach the villa, but upon seeing it, none of them appear happy. Devon questions Nardo about the villa's condition and the state of the door, to which Nardo explains that the photo used in the advertisement is an outdated one. They decide first to go inside and take a look around the villa, and during this, we see a girl sitting on a swing outside. Once inside, they discover that the villa is actually in good condition. However, Leah notices that one of the photos inside the villa shows it labeled as Villa Heinz. Nardo explains that this was the original name of the villa, but it was changed to Villa Tenger a year ago after being purchased by Harjo Tenger. He then tells them that they are welcome to use all the rooms in the villa, except for the storeroom downstairs. Later, while Ferdy is in the toilet, a frightening ghost appears behind him. He senses someone's presence, but when he turns around, no one is there. Outside, Miko spots a ghostly girl running and becomes terrified when she appears again, this time grabbing his leg. Panicked, Miko runs inside where he bumps into Ferdy and tells him about the ghost. However, Ferdy just laughs it off, making fun of Miko's fright. Miko then confides in Devon about the ghost encounter. Devon suggests it might have been a dog, but their conversation is interrupted when the piano plays by itself, startling them both. Suddenly, Freddy jumps out and scares them, adding to their unease. And then Nardo comes there and tells them that he lives in the back and that they can call him if they need anything. Later, while Leah is unpacking, she notices words carved by Nani on the cupboard, and suddenly, Nani's ghost appears. On the other hand, Sarah hears strange sounds in the bathroom, and as she checks the hand shower, blood starts coming out of it. However, when Leah and the others rush to her aid after hearing her scream, they find the bathroom completely clean, with no sign of the earlier disturbance. Later, they discuss the disturbances they've encountered, and Ferdy suggests that they should simply move out. But Devon reminds them that they've already paid for 5 days. He then asks if anyone wants to move and pay for a hotel, but everyone remains silent. He points out that there are guardians everywhere, including in this villa, and asks if they should evict them. Devon suggests that they should accept living alongside them without disturbing them. Later that night, Ferdy awakens to some strange noises and goes outside to investigate. He sees people dancing, which startles him. However, when he goes to check, there's no one there. Then he feels as if someone is lurking behind, and when he approaches the mysterious figure, he finds it heading towards the basement. Just as he is about to open the basement door, Devon arrives and asks him what he's doing there, but Ferdy doesn't tell him about the occurrences. Devon returns to his bedroom and settles in for sleep. Unbeknownst to him, several ghosts materialize in his room, surrounding him and staring at him as he slumbers. The following morning, Miko goes outside to fetch water from the well, where he hears strange noises, and suddenly, a strong wind begins to blow. He then notices a woman dancing behind the drying clothes. Perplexed, he moves closer to investigate, only to realize that it's not a human, but a ghost. Frightened, he runs away from the scene, but after running for some distance, he stumbles and falls, discovering many graves nearby. This sight intensifies his fear, and when his friends arrive upon hearing his screams, they too are shocked to see the graves. They all arrive at Nardo's house, but don't find him there, and suddenly, an elderly man startles Ferdy. The man, Mr. Tarjo, reveals that around 70 years ago, a Dutch captain named Mr. Heinz built the villa. Mr. Heinz, along with his wife and 2 children, resided in the house. One day, in a fit of anger, Mr. Hines insulted his 3 workers and expelled them from the premises. Tragically, the Hines family was subsequently slaughtered by these very workers. Initially, the Hines family was buried in a public cemetery by the Tanger landlord. However, later on, the bodies of the 3 workers were discovered, brutally murdered atop the Hines family's graves. Outraged residents protested this gruesome act. Subsequently, the Tanger landlord relocated their graves to the rear of the villa. The villa was taken over by the Tanger landlord. Following his demise, ownership passed to his son and eventually to his grandson. The grandson took the initiative to renovate this villa, but he lacked the funds. So he started to rent out this villa, and they are the first tenants. They inquire about the villa owner's contact information to request a refund, but Tarjo explains that he doesn't have it, and that the owner rarely visits the property. They decide to vacate the villa, but encounter an unexpected setback when their car fails to start. They decide to wait in the villa until Tarjo finds a mechanic, and resolve to enjoy their vacation, considering it a test of their courage. They then take a group photo, but we see their faces appear distorted. Later, while Sarah is checking her phone, she is suddenly startled by a noise, and then a ghost suddenly appears in front of her and starts strangling her. In the next moment, the ghost disappears, and Sarah tries to tell Leah about the incident, but Leah dismisses it, saying it was just the curtain. Meanwhile, Devin is checking his camera when the ghost suddenly appears in the viewfinder, and he notices a shadow outside his room. Fearfully, he opens the door and finds Miko and Ferdy standing there, who tells him that it's not too late and suggests finding something warm to drink. All the friends except Leah reach a nearby food stall and order soup, and Sarah asks Miko to read her Instagram comments and shows him the distorted faces in their photos, which shocks him. He shows the photo to Devin and Ferdy, who are equally shocked. Devin tries to calm them down by reminding them that they will leave the villa the day after tomorrow. When the lady brings them soup, they are surprised to see 5 glasses, and the lady insists that there were indeed 5 people present earlier. Meanwhile, Leah feels a hand on her shoulder and assumes that Sarah is playing around. However, the ghost starts holding her tightly, causing Leah to suffocate and experience disturbing visions. Realizing she is being attacked by a ghost, she gets up, but then the ghost suddenly disappears. She then hears a noise from outside, and upon investigating, sees Devin and Sarah leading her toward the basement. Just then, her friends return to the villa and find her standing near the stairs. They approach her, asking what she's doing there, and Leah tells them that she just saw Sarah and Devin going downstairs, to which Sarah suggests that maybe she was dreaming, but Leah insists that it was real, and that they went downstairs. They decide to rest and leave the villa the next morning. But later, Miko hears noises that sound like someone is hitting the walls, and just then, Devin startles him. Miko tells him about the sounds, explaining that they are coming from the room downstairs, and upon listening carefully, Devin also hears the noises and advises Miko to join their friends outside. The next day, they rent a car and set out to enjoy the rest of their vacation. And meanwhile, back at the villa, an old lady is seen climbing the stairs from the room downstairs. Ferdy receives a call from Naruto, who informs him that their car is ready. Ferdy asks if his father Tarjo told him this from the workshop, to which Naruto clarifies that he lives alone and that his father also resides in Jombang. In a flashback, we see the Hines family joyfully celebrating the birthday of their young daughter, Maurice. Meanwhile, the 3 workers whom Hines had previously fired enter the villa with the intention of exacting revenge, and the first thing they do is kill Tarjo. After this, they burst inside, and when Hines attempts to defend his family, the workers violently attack him and his family members, systematically killing everyone present in the house. Back in the present, when the friends return home, they discover that the lights in the villa are switched on, despite them being turned off before they left. However, everything else appears the same as when they departed. Suddenly, the lights start flickering, sending a wave of fear through them all. So Devin calls Naruto and urgently requests him to come over immediately. Ferdy becomes frightened after spotting the old woman, prompting them all to head towards the downstairs room. There, Ferdy admits his intense curiosity about the room. Leah shares that she felt compelled to enter the storeroom yesterday. And Miko reveals he heard someone hitting the walls from within. Ferdy adds that he saw an old woman entering that room, describing her hunched body. Ferdy and Devon decide to enter the room, and as they enter, the room shuts behind them. Just then, Nardo arrives, and he and Miko immediately rush downstairs to help them, but the door doesn't open. In the room, Ferdy and Devon discover numerous photos of the Hines family. As they explore further, they come across the old woman sitting on a swinging chair, and upon closer inspection, they realize that she is a living person. They bring her upstairs, where Leah suggests this lady must be Noni, to which Sarah asks, but how did she manage to survive until now? A flashback reveals that after the tragic events at the Hines villa, when the villagers arrived, they discovered the lifeless bodies of the entire Hines family. However, Noni was found to be alive amidst the devastation. Noni was rushed to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed her with a severe spinal injury. As a result, she would remain permanently hunched over for the rest of her life. Noni manages to escape from the hospital and returns to the Hines villa, where she is reunited with the spirits of her family. They welcome her back, and Noni has been living ever since, surrounded by the presence of her departed loved ones. Back in the present, the friends resolve to take Noni to the hospital, but their efforts are blocked by the spirits of Nani's family, who materialize to prevent her departure. Despite their spectral presence, Nani is drawn to them, prompting Sarah and Leah to try to explain that they are all dead long ago. Nani's mother implores them to release her, acknowledging that they have been protecting her all this time. Nani's sister and father's spirits then move forward aggressively, aiming to attack Sarah and Leah, and Nani's mother takes Nani away with her. The spirits then depart, leaving Sarah and Leah behind. Subsequently, the rest of the friends enter the scene, but Nani's father, consumed with anger, attacks Devon and Narto, and then he drags Ferdy along with him. After a while, Ferdy returns, much to the relief and joy of his friends, and overjoyed to see him back safe. They all embrace. Following this reunion, they decide to leave the villa behind them, and as they depart, the spirits of the Hines family are seen once again, residing happily in their home, stuck in the loop, celebrating Nani's birthday. Meanwhile, on their way back home, Ferdy's face begins to morph into that of Mr. Hines, and the movie ends here. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.